Hello students, my name is Satyajit Pal and today we are going to start an introductory class for computer science for the students who are moving from class 10 to 11 basically. So in this first lecture we are going to study a bit recap of the previous topics that we have done in class 10. So there may be many students who might be coming from different backgrounds, right? Some may be coming from CBSE, other may be coming from SEBA. So both have different course contents in the elective subjects computer science. So we shall be going through a bit of details of the previous things and then we shall be moving to the contents of today's lecture. Okay. So first of all, before beginning to learn what is programming, we shall know about this thing, problem solving techniques. Okay. So as you know that this computer science works on algorithms. Okay. We shall be knowing what is an algorithm in the later classes as we move ahead. So we shall be learning at first that what is problem solving techniques basically. And in programming, we shall be doing a bit of introduction. What is programming? Why do we need programming? Okay. So as you know that the modern era is totally digitalized and everything works on computers, softwares. So in this age, it is very essential that you should have at least a bit of a rough idea that what is programming and why do we need it, where it is being used. How to begin programming? So most of the children have a question that, sir, how can I begin programming? What are the tools that we are going to need? What are the language we should learn at first? So all these questions will be answered in today's lecture, okay? And then we shall be knowing a hint of what are the basic programming languages you should learn as a beginner, and the world of opportunities with programming, that what are the future aspects or prospects that you can do, or what are the career opportunities that are going to come in with programming, okay? So without further ado, let's begin today's lecture. Okay, so if we're going to start with the very basic things that you have learned in class 10. For example, data. So you might be very well aware that what is data. In layman terms, data means information. Okay, so data means information or processed information. So what do you mean by processed information? Processed information is such information which is filtered through some conditions and being kept. Okay. Any kind of information that you have. For example, your email ID, your phone number, your name, class, section, whatever you are going to store in the computer's memory, that is stored as data. That is called data. Okay. Then you should know a bit of thing that what is internet. So internet is a very common thing nowadays, right? So internet, everyone is using cell phones or Android phones nowadays. So internet is not like something that which everyone doesn't know. I guess everyone is aware about what is internet, how to surf the internet, what are the things, advantages of using internet. Everyone is aware about that, right? So apart from internet, one more thing, web browsers. Now this web browser, what is it actually? It is a kind of application software. For example, is Chrome or maybe Opera. So this Chrome and Opera, all these things, Chrome, Opera, then you have Mozilla Firefox and different web browsers are there. So all these web browsers are like a gateway through which you can access to the internet, right? But have you ever imagined that this Chrome or Opera, what is it actually? So this comes under an application software, okay? This comes under application software. Now, application software is just a category of software. No need to get confused about that thing. Application software is just a category of software. Now, this software is made, how it is made? It is being built with the help of certain programs, okay? So what is the relation between a software and a program that we are going to learn in today's lecture. Okay, so to begin programming. So whenever you hear about this term programming, various things might strike your mind that what is the programming, how to do programming, then what are the tools that we are going to need in programming, how should, as a beginner, how should I approach, or what are the languages that we should learn while programming, right? So programming or programs. These are what? Set of instructions. Okay. Programs or programming is basically set of instructions or codes. Programs are basically a set of instruction or code to achieve a particular task. Okay. Now we cannot begin programming directly, right? So first of all, to begin programming, you should know what is problem solving techniques. Okay. So this is the first thing that you are going to learn in programming, that is problem solving techniques. Now, problem solving techniques include algorithms. Okay. So now, what is algorithm? Let us first learn this. It is a series of steps to solve any given problem. Okay. So what is algorithm? Algorithm basically is a series of steps to solve any given problem. Let me brief it with an example that I guess everyone is aware of in our day-to-day lives. Okay. So everyone is aware about this application, right? Everyone is aware about this application known as Flipkart. So this is the application or app, right? So what is this app used for? It is used for what? Buying products, right? So Flipkart is an application which is helpful in buying products as it gives home delivery, right? Now, just tell me that suppose you want to buy a pair of jeans from Flipkart, then what should we do, right? So first of all, we should open the app. Open the application. You may open it in your mobile or you may open it using your laptops, desktops, whatever. Okay, what is the second step? You go to what? You go to your home page. Then number 3, you go to menu. Then in menu, you will select, go to categories. Right? Number 4, you will select the men's category. Then you will go to clothing. In clothing, you will find what? Suppose there will be many options. For example, t-shirts, shirts, jeans. Now for me, the relevant one is jeans. So I will select jeans from here. Then after selecting the pair of jeans, you look for color, you look for the size, right? Or you may look for brand also, right? So after selecting each one of them, what you will do? You will proceed to add to cart. And lastly, what you should do? Make the payment and checkout, right? So all these things are done step by step, isn't it? As you are being able to see that everything is done step by step, one step at a time, right? So all these steps are meant for what? For buying a pair of jeans, right? So in this case, the problem was buying a pair of jeans, and how did we solve it? We solved it with an algorithm. Now what is algorithm? Algorithm is just a series of steps. So as I have explained here, that all these steps constitute of combination of all these steps constitute the algorithm, right? So I hope it is clear that algorithm is just a series of steps to solve any given problem in our day-to-day lives. Okay? Let me give you another example of an algorithm. So for example, there is a problem to add two numbers. Suppose this is the given problem. So how will you solve it with an algorithm? See, first of all, take three variables A, B and C. Okay, what are variables and all will come to know in our later classes. Take three variables A, B and C. Suppose, then initialize A equal to, suppose whatever value you want to give, A equal to 5, B equal to 6, 3. Process the, what do we need? We need to add the two numbers, right? So we will process the sum, number 4, store the sum in the third variable. What is the third variable? The third variable is C, and number 5, display C. So all these steps are what? The algorithm for solving this problem, which is addition of two numbers, right? So I hope it is clear that through these two examples that algorithm is basically a series of steps through which you can add two numbers or maybe subtract two numbers, or problems may be of many kind, right? So it is not fixed that okay, I will use a certain kind of algorithm. For solving any given problem, you may have 2-3 kinds of algorithms. It is not necessary that we will have only one specific algorithm for this, but you may have 1, 2 or many more than that. Okay? Depending on person to person, problem to problem, the algorithm varies. So it is not necessary that you will have only one fixed algorithm. There may be many other ways. Okay? So I hope it is clear to every one of you that what is an algorithm and how an algorithm works. So don't worry, it is just a brief beginning of what is an algorithm. Okay, so as you move on with the classes ahead, you will come to know more about algorithms. We'll practice like a few basic algorithms that are related with computer science problems. Okay, then it will be more clear to you as we move ahead. Now, every one of you might be confused that what is programming, how to begin programming, what languages to learn. So, programming is based on algorithm, right? First of all, we design an algorithm. We design this algorithm. After designing this algorithm, what do? We write programs. Okay, we write programs. Now, how do we write programs? Using different languages. Okay, using different languages. So, I guess every one of you might have heard about different programming languages, right? Like in class 10, if you are from class 10, then you might have heard about various programming languages. Like there is one programming language is known as JavaScript. Then HTML, XML, etc. All these are what? Introductory programming languages. But if I would suggest you that if you want to begin programming, you should begin it with a language which is very basic and initial, that is C. Okay. So now in our course we shall be beginning with C++. So no need to get afraid. Just C++ is just the more advanced version of C. Okay, it is one step ahead of C, and I hope that if you learn C++, then you might be able to learn the further languages very easily. Now, whenever I am talking about the term languages, what do I mean exactly? See, everyone has a different language, right? At home we speak many kind of languages. For example, you might be having Bengali, at home Hindi, Assamese. Okay, so these might be very various kind of languages that you know, right? And English might be one of them. But the thing with computer is that computer will not understand these kind of languages. So any instruction that you would like to give to the computer, it will not accept if you write it in terms of these languages. Okay, so Computer understands only these things, these two things, 0 and 1. This is known as binary numbers. Okay, computer understands only these two, 0 and 1. That is either it will be true or false, yes or no. Okay, so computer understands only these binary numbers. Now how do I take the instructions that I want to give to this form? That will come to know later when we talk about assemblers, translators, interpreters. Okay, now when I talk about these languages are not understood by the computer. So what was done? Some languages were developed, some languages or programming languages were developed in the higher end, so that it will be easy for us to instruct the computers what do we want to do and what kind of tasks do we want to achieve. Okay, so a few basic languages are C, C++, then you might have heard about Java, then JavaScript, PHP. Okay, PHP is one of them. It helps in linking basically. You might have heard about different web pages, right? So to design web pages we use basically PHP, HTML, XML, etc. So these are the very basic programming languages. So what I would suggest you either go ahead with C or C++ to begin with, so that you have a strong foundation of programming, and it will help you to learn various languages. See, once you have learned one language, it is very easy to learn the different kind of programming languages, as because syntax remains the same. The syntax of the language remains the same. Now what is syntax? What is syntax of a language? This is a very important thing that you should know. See, every language that you learn is bounded by a set of rules. Like you must start every line with a capital letter, every end statement or every line should end with a full stop, right? So these are different rules. So in these languages, this set of rules is known as grammar. Similarly, in programming, this set of rules is known as syntax. Okay. Whenever you write any program or you are following any programming language, you have to take care of the syntax. Okay. So what is syntax? Basically, these are some rules that you should follow while writing a program. You cannot abide by these protocols or set of rules, or you have to abide by this set of rules, and you cannot make any changes in the syntax, as because if you make any changes in the syntax, this will give you an error in your program, and I hope you all don't want any errors, right? So you want your program to function as soon as you write the program, but many of us are not acquainted with programming, so initially mistakes has to be there, otherwise you will not learn. Okay, so what did we learn? That syntax is basically the set of rules. Like in English, Hindi, Bengali, Assamese, all these languages have certain kinds of grammatical rules. Similarly, in programming, we have certain syntax that we follow. Now, since you know about the syntax, or since we are aware about syntax, let me give a very short example of a program, that how it will look like. So if I were to tell you that, suppose I just give you an example that add two numbers, right? So the previous algorithm which I had written, if I want to write it using any programming language, for example, I want to write it using C++, okay? I want to write it using the language C++. How will I write it? So you have to begin like this. See, So this is the very basic structure of a C++ program to add two numbers, okay? To add two numbers. So now in the previous algorithm, what did we learn? That we have to take three variables, right? So here, this A, it not been visible to you. Here, A equal to 5. B equal to, A equal to 5, B equal to 10. So here, earlier, if you look at the previous algorithm, what did we know? That we have to take three variables, right? So here A is the first variable, B is the second variable, and this sum, let me replace this sum with C. So C equal to A plus B. So what will I do? I will display C and return 0. So now, if you want to go to the depth of this program, let me tell you that computer, as you all know, that computer is based on memory, right? Every data that you want to store or any information that you want to process, that is being stored at the beginning in computer's memory. So a computer memory looks like this virtually, okay? A computer memory looks like this virtually. It is made up of various blocks. Okay? Now these blocks have small memory blocks. These are all small memory. These are all small memory blocks. Okay. So when I write this program, I want to add two numbers. This A is a variable, right? So I have created this variable A, and this A has this much of memory. For example, it is like, let's say, 2 bytes. So this is 2 bytes of memory, this is another 2 bytes of memory, this is another 2 bytes of memory, right? So this memory block, I have named it with the variable A. Similarly, this will be a variable B. Okay? This will be another variable C. This will be another variable C. Now, I have initialized this A with 5. I have initialized this A with 5. Similarly, I have initialized this B with 10. Okay? So, this variable A has a value 5. This variable B has a value 10. Now, C equal to A plus B. That means what? We have to add these two variables, right? So 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. So this statement will process the information that C equal to A plus B. That means C will be equal to how much? 10 plus 5 equal to 15. So this C will hold the value 15. Right? You cannot simply like store it virtually somewhere, right? You cannot store it somewhere virtually. You have to store the result of this plus this, means 5 plus 10 at some memory location. Then only you will be able to display it, right? So we are storing it in another memory location, that is C, and it will hold a value 15. Now at the end, C out. C out means what? It will display the end result. And what it will display? It will display the value of C. How much is the value of C? That is 15. Okay. So this is just a brief structure of a C++ program, and this is an introduction of how programming looks like. So no need to be afraid. We'll go through all the syntax, we'll learn everything step by step. Okay? And we shall have a better grip and better understanding as we go ahead with the next classes. Now, some of you might think that, sir, why should we learn programming? What is the need? Or what are the opportunities that we get if we learn programming? Now see, you are taking this subject known as computer science, right? So as you know that in the modern era, everything is computerized. Everything is computerized and everything is made up of softwares, right? So simply you cannot build a software if you don't know programming. Very simple. So to learn programming, first of all you need to learn a language. Okay? See, I'll go step by step so that you can understand. So after programming you will learn certain language. In this language you will be writing certain programs, right? You will be writing certain programs. Okay? This is suppose program 1. Suppose this is program 1 to add. You will write another program. Suppose program 2. This will do subtraction, right? Another set of codes. Suppose this will do subtraction. Then this is suppose another program 3, which will do what? This suppose will do, this is for addition, this is subtraction, this is suppose multiplication. This is another module which will do division. Okay? So these are different programs or different modules you have created. Now, see, this is the basic or basis of a software. A software, what is a software? Software is basically a set or combination of programs. What is a software? It is a set or combination of programs merged together. Now, from a very rough guess, can you all guess that? Take a very rough guess that if I have these 4 modules, okay, I have these 4 programs: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. These are all different programs, they are working differently. But what if I join each program? What if I join them all together? Suppose I am joining this program, then I am joining this, plus this. So a combination of all these programs, what will result? It will result in a software which is known as okay. So a combination of all these different modules, when you merge it all together, this behaves as a software, right? So in Windows you might have seen that small calculator software which gets popped up, right? In any Windows, whether it may be Windows XP, it may be Windows 7, it may be Windows 8, it may be Windows 10, 11. So in every software or in every version of Windows, you will find this calculator software. Now, how did this calculator software was being made? How was this software being made? It was made with the help of these small programs. These small programs, when they are merged together, they form a software. So that is why I have said that a software is nothing but a set or a combination of programs merged together. Okay? Now is it clear that why do we need to learn programming? So if you learn programming, you will be able to write these programs. And see, nowadays, as I told you, that everything is based on programs and softwares, right? So after learning programming, you might be able to develop, suppose, web pages. You might be able to create softwares or maybe different applications, mobile applications. Okay. And there are various other opportunities along with it. Not only programming, but when you learn a bit about that databases, when you learn a bit about SQL, okay, structured query language, what is a database? So a combination of programming and database knowledge all together, you can create web pages, you can create softwares, you can create mobile phone applications that you can give it either in Play Store. People can download it also. They might use it for different purposes. So many software. So if you learn programming, database, if you have knowledge about database, web pages, softwares, mobile applications, so you can apply in these various multinational companies that are available worldwide. And I don't need to explain about these companies, right? These are very famous companies, and if you have a wish or if you like to work along with these companies in the near future, then I would suggest that you go ahead with programming and do it in such a way that you feel interested. Don't get bored. Don't get like afraid that okay, I am getting many errors while I am programming. What will I do? It is very exhausting. Like I am not able to cope up with programming. This is not my cup of tea. No, don't think that. Have a little bit of patience, and once you are acquainted with one language, I can assure you that every new language that you learn, whether it be Java, Python, PHP, the syntax almost remains the same. It will be very easy and very clear to you while learning new languages once you have had a hold or good grip over any preliminary or basic high level language. Okay, so in the next classes what we shall do, we shall learn about the various programming languages and what are compilers, interpreters, assemblers, what are the basic rules of syntax while writing a program. All these things we shall go ahead in our later classes. Thank you.